Today we're presenting virtual field service, fixing customer issues the first time, every time. We are here with Kimmy Gunn, Worldwide Enablement Lead for Field Service and Project Operations at Microsoft, Jonathan Kasmani, Global Director for Microsoft Solutions at Arbella Technologies, and Tom Totten, Pre-Sales Engineer at Arbella Technologies. So without further ado, let's get started. Jonathan, over to you.
All right, thanks everyone for joining today. So what I want to do is I want to just kick off by walking through the agenda. So I'm going to ask Kimmy to go ahead and move forward in the slide.
So Jonathan, sorry about that. Having a little problem with my equipment just seemed to have locked up. So.
No problem. As Kimmy is adjusting that, we're going to do a couple things today. Number one, we want to start about talking about improving your first-time fix rate and why that's so crucial, even more than ever in today's world, in today's economy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a demonstration of Microsoft Dynamics 365 for field service. As a part of that, there's a lot of add-ons to field service. So field service gives you the ability to do intelligent and automated scheduling of your technicians based on skill set, location, and availability. It gives you a fully functional offline mobile applications, so your technicians have every single digital data point about the customer and the work order at their fingertips. As they're walking through the troubleshooting steps, they might need additional help. And what we're going to be demonstrating is an add-on to field service known as Dynamics 365 for Remote Assist. And Remote Assist is a augmented reality piece of technology that can be installed on a HoloLens, and or it can actually be installed on a mobile device, whether that's Android or iPhone. And using that solution, a technician will then phone someone on the other side of the country, could even be on the other side of the planet, and in real time they can share screens, and then they have the ability to actually use augmented reality to walk through each and every single step in troubleshooting the issue, improving your first-time fix rate. On average, most organizations have about a 77% first-time fix rate. We can bring that way up 95 to even higher percentage based on these type of solutions. Also, as part of Remote Assist, we can send schematics, CAD drawings, 3D models, and even using a guide. So a guide is another Dynamics product that's going to be a part of the Remote Assist demonstration, where we're going to actually bring up the device, and it's going to be an automated animated 3D model that is going to walk the technician through all the troubleshooting steps again. So a lot of really cutting edge, innovative technology we're going to be demonstrating today. Also, with that, it's actually being implemented today. This isn't futuristic art of the possible, things that have not been done that are in preview. Everything we're going to be showing you today is available now for you to be able to implement. So I'm going to go ahead, and Kimmy, are we good to go ahead with the PowerPoint? If not, I'll ask Tom to go ahead and share that. With Kimmy there? No, I think we lost Kimmy there for a moment. So Tom, are you there?
I am here.
Okay. So what we'll do then is, as we wait for Kimmy to come back, I think what we'll do is we'll just go really into what everyone's here to see, and that's the actual demonstration. And then we'll circle back, talk a little bit more about the business side of field service and how we can really improve these metrics. So Tom, I'm going to pass it off to you to set up the scenario and show everyone here. Looks like we have a huge amount of people already here. So let's go ahead and get kicked off with that.
Sounds good. Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Totten, and what I'm going to go through today is, first of all, how to set up a scenario where a customer has an issue, how we take care of documenting that issue, and creating a work order so we can dispatch a technician out to the field to fix the problem at our customer. So we'll set that up, and then I will act as the technician in the field, I'll show you the mobile device, how we can see our work orders, as well as, like Jonathan was talking about, remote assist and guides. So that's kind of the scenario that we're going to go through. So to start off with, I'm logged in to my field service application on Dynamics 365. And the first thing, you might receive a phone call, you might receive an email, you might receive a case that's been created in a portal, could be a chat session. Regardless of the channel that's used to create the incident, what we would end up doing is creating a case, because we don't know at this point whether or not we need to roll a truck. And it's always expensive to send someone out if we don't need to. So the first thing we want to do is document the issue and make sure that we do need to send someone out in the field. So instead of creating a case from scratch, I'll open one that's been created for SRI Tech Solutions here in Tampa, Florida. And what basically all we do is follow our business process flow. It's our checklist of items. So we make sure that we find the right customer, the person that we're speaking with, and if not, we add those to the system. At this point in creating the case, we're learning about the problem from the customer. We're documenting the type of incident that we're working on here. So this is, we're looking at potentially repairing a broken part. We could also add notes to our case. So add a note, set up an appointment, maybe a follow-up. So at this point, before we've sent a technician out into the field, we want to make sure that we've documented everything about this particular incident. Once we've gotten to that point, if we can't fix the problem over the phone, then we want to go to the next step, which would be to create a work order and dispatch a technician out to the field. So if I just click on the next button here, our business process flow, our checklist, it takes us to creating the work order. So I have most of what needs to be added to the work order automated. So the service account, the billing account, the primary incident type, and then there's just a few things that I might want to add to the work order to make it easier for the technician. So the first thing is, does this customer have any assets? So I want to make sure that I'm documenting which machine or which assembly line that the technician has to work on. And then our incident is attached to a work order type for he wants to be able to diagnose and repair the problem. We might also add something like a priority. Is this an emergency? Is it urgent? Is it low priority? And that way our dispatchers will know how we should coordinate our resources out in the field. So once I've added those things, we can say that this is ready for dispatch, and we'll create the work order. So what happens is that Dynamics 365 takes us from the case record to the work order record. And the purpose behind this is that we just want to make this easy to use for the individual behind the screen. So they don't have to go and find the work order that they just created. They don't have to remember the work order number. They don't have to remember how it's attached to the case. And then ultimately, when the work order is completed, the case will be resolved. So again, following my business process flow, we're double checking that we have the appropriate service account, the incident type, priority, work order type, and then we'll get into how are we going to solve this issue. We're going to go on site. This is in the Eastern Territory. And then as we're speaking to the customer, we can let them know that we're going to promise to be there somewhere between today and Friday. We can give them a window of time, go to the next step, and we're ready for dispatch. Now, in this demo, we're really focusing on the remote assist and guides. So there's a lot more that goes into setting up your field service application, the skill set of the resources, whether or not parts are included with this incident type, whether we're charging for services, and what are the tasks involved in completing this operation. And we'll see that on the mobile phone here in a moment. So now that I'm ready for dispatch, we can simply click the book button, and the engine in the background is going to find the appropriate resource with the time on their calendar and the skill set to be able to perform the operation. So here's my booking screen. I'm just going to change the layout. to a horizontal view, and it has found, 7 or 8 different resources that have the skills. There are 21 resources in this system, so that means that it has found the appropriate ones with the time available and the skill set to be able to complete this job. I also see that I have a number of people out in the field that are working on jobs, traveling to jobs. It is also taking into consideration travel time. So it looks like Crystal Robles is 12 minutes away from this next job. So she would be able to go and take care of this immediately. So I'll book Crystal, and the system will book there we go. So we booked Crystal. Actually, it wants to book her on Thursday instead. So it must have taken another look at her calendar and decided that tomorrow is a better option. So she'll start out tomorrow with this as her first work order. So once it's been booked, we close out the work order, and we'll be able to see that on our schedule board. So in the real world, you might have a contact center customer service agent that might create the work order, and then you might also have someone that is dedicated to dispatch and scheduling. So if that was the role of myself right now, then I would probably work inside of the schedule board primarily and keep an eye on my technicians. When things need to get shifted around, we can rebook different work orders. And then we can also, instead of going to that booking section after the work order was created, all of those work orders that haven't been booked would show up in my unscheduled work order section. And from here, we can drag and drop our work orders on the schedule if we know that someone is qualified and available. We can also just click on the work order itself and be able to use the engine to schedule the work order. Now in Dynamics 365, there are 2 different views, and this is just so that you have a variety of user interface to be able to work with the schedule board. So I'm going to turn on the old schedule board for a second. And the look and feel is fairly similar. The schedule board has the ability to see our resources by the hour, by the day, by the week, by the month, a horizontal view, vertical view, a grid, and even a map. And then we can also see a larger expansion of the calendar, and we can go weeks, months, even years out into the future. This is entirely configurable to the dispatcher's preferences as to what they want to see on a regular basis. And we can expand, the size of what we're looking at. We can full screen our browser so that we can fit more resources in our view. And we even have the ability to determine how tall a row is and how wide a column is. So we're not trying to hunt around and find out where we need to book our resources. So when I go down to this public supermarket work order, I can click on Find Availability, and it works in the background using the engine, just like we saw earlier with when we were booking that other work order. And now we can see that we have a number of resources with different travel times depending on where they are, either their previous work order or from their home if that's where they begin, or if they're working out of a shop, they will be able to know how far they would have to travel. So we'll book Donna Edwards here. She has a 39-minute travel time, and once that's booked, we're ready to go. So that's kind of how we would get to the point where someone in the field would be notified that they have a work order. So let's switch over to our mobile device. Okay, so here, you can't see this, but I have my phone in my hand, and we'll just take a quick peek at what this application has available to the technician in the field. So when I open it up, it takes me to my booking. So these are the different work orders that I have to work on. And I'm currently working on the Publix supermarket line connection lost work order right now. But in the upper left-hand corner, we can expand the other records that are available to a technician. So why would this be important? Well, if I need to maybe record different activities, maybe I have an appointment that's, maybe it's a remote meeting that I have with my management and I want to record that information. Maybe I need to see what products are available and what's in inventory, whether it be on my truck or in a warehouse or on another technician's truck that might be in the area. So if it takes less time for me to go to another technician that has a part on their truck versus going back to the warehouse, then that's going to save me time and allow me to fix that job in the same day versus having to reschedule the work order. I have all of my accounts and contacts available in case I need phone numbers or email addresses. If I've got IoT, Internet of Things attached to different customers' machines, then if an alert was to come in, I'd be able to catch that alert, maybe going between jobs or maybe at lunch. Then I can attach those to the asset that I'm working on. Each of my customers have different functional locations. So you might have, like Publix, for example, is a grocery store chain. So there's grocery stores all over Tampa. So if I have to go and fix a piece of equipment, then the address to that piece of equipment will be attached to the asset and the work order and the booking so that I go to the right place. Again, these are all things that seem kind of rudimentary, but if any of these are incorrect, it could cause me to have to come back and not be able to fix the job the first time. We can monitor IoT devices from the field, from our phone, and then we can also do things like request vacation time or enter our time entries into the system from here. I have this system set up so that when I start and complete a work order, it automatically records my time that I was on the job, so I don't have to worry about that. So let's get into the booking real quick. And from here, this is going to give me all the information I need to be able to fix this job. First of all, it shows general summary information. I'm in progress right now, when I started the job, when I'm supposed to finish the job, how long it's supposed to take. We have customer information, service and billing accounts. We have the address on a map. And because I'm on my phone, I have the ability to just click on the directions and use my phone to be able to get from one job to the next without having to worry about looking at a map. It also gives me different options based on traffic and other variables. And then we have things like, what are we doing when we get there? So I have my service tasks at the top. I need to read my diagnostic codes, diagnose the issue, repair it, test and validate. It also says that it's going to require a universal network card. Before I was sent out on the job, my dispatcher has verified that I had the universal network card on my truck by looking at the inventory. And then the service that I'm providing is an inspect line integration, and that is attached to a product list which has a cost and a sale amount so that I, as a technician, don't need to be worried about what we're billing the customer. I just need to make sure that I've appropriately allocated my time. And then it tells me the incident type and a number of other things. This is their priorities, etc. And then I have the notes that are available, so I can take notes on the job. I can take a picture of what I fixed, and then ultimately get the customer to sign off on the work order. So at this point, I'm at the job and I'm having trouble fixing it. So we're going to run through this scenario twice. First, we're going to use remote assist from our phone, and then I'm going to put on a HoloLens and we're going to show how to fix this using the HoloLens on my head. So Jonathan, let's have some fun with this. Jonathan's going to help out. He's my engineer back in the office. So I'm going to call him, and he's actually using an alias today.
And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So let me just do that real quick.
You gonna show me calling you?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Can you see my screen?
I can. All right, you ready for me to call?
I'm ready.
All right. Here we go.
Okay, I see the phone call coming in. I'm gonna go ahead and accept it. All right, hey Tom, how are you?
I'm good, Jonathan. I'm having trouble with this machine over here.
Ah, okay.
Not quite sure how to get this thing to work.
I
Seems like
see.
it's jammed up, but
Okay. Yeah, so this is one of our newest machines, and I'm sorry we didn't have time to train you during your onboarding session for this, but I'm going to walk you through each step. All right. The
Okay.
first thing I need you to do, it's going to be a lot of things people miss, but safety first, Tom. Would you mind actually unplugging the unit first?
yes, I will unplug the unit.
All right.
There we go.
Excellent. Okay. After that, I want you to go ahead and open up the device.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay. So Tom, do you see the middle cylinder here?
I do.
All right. So what I need you to do, Tom, I need you to put your right hand and right thumb on the top of that cylinder, on the
Okay.
top right, and then on the top left, and you're going to be able to pull it up right from there. And then please very carefully place it somewhere that you can see.
All right, there we go.
All right, excellent. Okay, the next part's a little complicated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually upload a schematic of this device. Let me know when you get it.
Very good.
Okay, looks like it's just been sent to you.
Yes.
All right.
So in order for the audience to be able to see what I see, I'm gonna need to share my screen real quick.
Absolutely, Tom.
Okay.
All right.
So everybody see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Jonathan sent me a schematic. I can tap on the drawing and then zoom in and out and be able to see anything that I would need to be able to fix this job. And then once I figured out what I need to do, which I have the instructions now, we can close that down and go back to what I see on the screen. And basically I need to tighten up the bolt over here and replace the cylinder, close the lid, and plug it back in. And once it's plugged in, turn it on. Oh, and the light is on. We're good to go.
That's great, Tom. Okay. If you have any other questions, give me a call. I'm always here for you.
You got it. Okay, everyone, so as you can see, without needing any additional equipment, we were able to solve the problem using our phone, and Jonathan can point and direct and help me fix that issue. So the next thing we're gonna do is the same thing on the HoloLens. So let me get this out of the way. And probably restream. Okay, so right now I'm just putting the HoloLens on my head. And now we will live stream to you what I see. So the advantage to using the HoloLens over the phone is that, as you could see on the phone, I only had one hand as I was showing Jonathan what I was working on. When I have a HoloLens, I've got two hands. So for more complicated tasks, this will make it much easier for me to work on something. So let me get back to my home. I have to say, this is an incredible experience to be able to put this on your head and in 3 dimensions, work on a problem. So I'm opening up Remote Assist, similarly to the way that I did on my phone. Remote Assist comes up and it will give me the option to call the engineer. There we go. There's Spencer. We'll call Spencer. And when I'm calling Spencer, the sound comes through the HoloLens.
Yep, and there goes that echo.
And now the echo should be gone.
Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. So Jonathan, are you there?
I'm here, Tom.
Awesome. So now I can look at my machine that I'm having trouble with. So Jonathan, I can't get this thing to work.
All right, Tom. So what I'm going to do actually, Tom, I'm going to make myself presenter so
Okay.
I can walk everyone through. Okay. Can you see my screen?
I see your screen.
Awesome. Okay. So Tom, so once again, I'm going to walk you through a couple of things here with a new device. Number one is I need you to unplug it. Once you unplug it, go ahead and open up the unit. Fantastic, Tom. All right. Now I need you to locate the central cylinder.
Okay, got it.
Okay. And then using your right hand and right thumb, go ahead and place it on top of the cylinder and also on the left side as well. And then
Okay.
what you'll do is you'll carefully lift it up.
Got it.
Fantastic. Now, again, this is one of our newest devices. So it's a little bit more complex than the older ones. I'm going to go ahead and send you a schematic, and that's going to actually help you walk through the troubleshooting steps a little bit further. And I'll be here with you to actually guide you through that as well.
Great. So now I can see exactly what needs to be done. And just because this is in my way, just put it over here. And I can see that I need to tighten up the bolt right in here. And then replace the cylinder. And then close the lid. And then we can plug it back in and give it a try. Turn it on. Are you able to move that rectangle? There we go. That way we can see the power button is on.
There you go. Power button's on. Well
Awesome.
done, Tom.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Anytime.
All right, everybody. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're not going to be on Remote Assist now. So I'm going to make sure that I share my screen. And we're going to show you guides. So guides are really 2 things. One, you could use guides to fix a problem where you can show a 3-dimensional drawing of the device that you're working on, but it can also be used for training, especially with COVID. Being able to have personalized in-person training has become difficult for companies. So we have the ability to create guides that will help people learn how to fix things. Okay, so does everybody see my screen okay?
We can see it, Tom.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart guides from over this side of my office here. Just realized I left my food saver on. Hold on a second. Making noise. Okay, So here's, guys, we're gonna run through a demo real quick. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna point that little dot where I want to go.
And Tom, I think we're having a little bit of with your 6 projections, a little lag there, a little choppy.
All right, I'm gonna slow down.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, do you see that okay?
It's a little choppy, but we could see the 3D model and guides launching to walk us through the following steps.
Excellent. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the guides and I'm gonna read this to you just so that we know we're all on the same page. You can see that I have a 3-dimensional model inside of my office. The hologram is automatically placed when the demo is launched. For best results, face an open area when launching the demo. So I'm going to confirm. So step 1, guides is a heads up and hands-free app that lets people learn by doing. Move your head to aim the cursor to the next step. Activating buttons by looking at them makes following a guide easy. You can go forward or backwards. So it says, look at the holographic machine. Imagine it's real and you're working on it. So I can actually come over here, and I should probably do this fairly slowly. How's our video right now?
It's still a little choppy, so I think we just speed this part up.
Okay, so I can place my hands around the machine and then go to the next step. And I can see that it's pointing to 2 pulleys. Probably should close those blinds so it's easier for you to see. Okay, next step. This step shows a complete task, and it also has voice recognition if you can't tell. Next step. Move around to the back of the machine. Don't put your fingers in there, they'll get chopped off. Here it's showing me how to lift the machine. There we go.
Yeah, and this is truly amazing, Tom. I know right now it's getting a little choppy, but I think we can all see here the value of guides, where we're going to bring up this 3D model, right? We don't need the ability to call a senior technician somewhere else on the planet. We have the ability of having this 3D model pop up, and it's going to walk us through the steps, how to actually disassemble the unit, how to troubleshoot it, how to lift the unit up, right? What type of safety measures should be in place before we do something. So I think we definitely showed the immense capabilities of remote assist and guides. That it's just extremely powerful, and it's something that's available today. So Tom, I'll go ahead and hand it off to you to close out guides.
Sounds good. There's also video and pictures available, and we're almost finished with our demo. There's a library of different commands and images that can be used. They can have emphasis with different colors. And it can actually show us how to install a new fan with video. Success. Great. Go back to my home screen, turn off guides, and we're done. All right. So we know that the video might not have been as clear as you might have wanted, but you can imagine the experience that we went through to be able to get assistance. Sorry about the phone. Obviously, everything's live. So I think what we need to bring up now would be Kimmy.
Yeah, hey, sorry
Hi,
about that.
no
Hi, that
problem.
was great. Hey, Tom, that was fantastic. I think it's a great way to show how, between using remote assist and also with guides, how we can really enable the technicians or the engineers that are on site to help them be successful to really hit that first time fixed rate. I when you think about the different modes as well, I think the great thing is that we can also do it from the phone. So being able to show, like you did with remote assist, that ability to come in and, the investment isn't quite as high maybe as having to get a HoloLens. You can still actually get it on the smartphone and get that same, that same experience. So I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. So Kimmy, this is interesting. Most service organizations are under pressure by senior management to increase revenue and cut costs. Then, as we
Yep.
know, in this highly competitive market, there's this added pressure to achieve exceptional customer satisfaction. So at Microsoft and at the other customers that you're engaged with, how have you seen companies in some of these cases try to survive this balance of increased revenue and reduced cost?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and really, when we're talking about that balance, we're really talking between, revenue and cost. So we're kind of in that model of being a profit center outcome-based customer. So if we look at, those, the manufacturers, for example, that have after service sales is a good one, or oil and gas companies that have production and have the production revenue, or specialty contractors, for example, can really benefit from a lot of this functionality. And when we go back to how do you balance all that, what's a metric that I can look at? It really does come down to that first time fix rate. I mean, that in itself, that metric in of itself is like sets the bar for everything. So if you can get control as a company over that, you can really start seeing the benefits, not just even at the bottom, the bottom line with your, with your P&L, but also a lot of the stuff that Tom was just showing, it really does increase the technician satisfaction, right? And it makes them more successful when they're in the field. And then when they're in the field and they're more successful and they've got the tools and technology, well, they're able to show that really good brand, and it typically leads to better customer service. And one of the things that I wanted to state there was, on average, if you're just an average company, there was a report done by Aberdeen. It's a couple of years old now, but it's still pretty much relevant, where the first time fixed rate was sitting at about 80% for an average customer, right? But those best in class got it up to about 88%. So just think about, if you start putting the numbers to it, and you break it down, and let's just say you have a service truck, and every truck roll, right, every time the truck has to go out and visit a site, can cost anywhere, I've heard between $200 and $300, $200 and $500. It really just depends on where they're going, how far they have to go, right? And then let's just, for fun's sake, say you've got 500 calls per day, and you're in that average range of about 80%. Well, so the first 400 calls, or 400 of those calls, you actually fix the first time, but 100 require you to come back. You don't get it resolved for any one of the reasons that Tom actually brought up during the conversation. So if you just do the math, that ends up being a lot of money that could be saved by just putting the proper technology in place. And And when you break that down, one of the key areas, to your question, is improvements actually in the scheduling and dispatch. I know that seems a little crazy, and you're probably sitting there, Jonathan, going, well, how does that improve first time fix rate? Well, if you look at everything that's involved in the scheduling process, if you could just get control over the skills management, you'll actually send the right person out the first time. And a lot of the customers that, when we go in, they're on a maturity level that maybe, they don't have that skills mapping and that skills management, resource management under control, and they're manually scheduling everything. So they've got a dispatcher that's sitting there, or scheduler, dispatcher, depending on, how they're set up. And, for example, they might book a resource just to troubleshoot and fix well, I guess it could be the food saver of Tom's, but let's just say a condenser unit repair. And they didn't realize that they sent out Spencer, who actually is not certified to handle refrigerant. So what do you think happens? Any thoughts,
Callback.
Tom? Callback. Yep.
That's right.
That's your callback. And so that callback means Spencer couldn't fix it, so now they got to send Tom back out. Or I guess it was the other way around, but they've got to send back a skilled engineer, or the person that has that certification, and that then costs them a truck roll. And then if you think about it, so not only now have my costs gone up, but I might have also impacted my ability to put in a new call, which could impact my revenue, right? I may miss out on some revenue. And if you're in one of those outcome-based, the servitization models, where you've got this whole inclusive, hey, 99% uptime, nothing's going to break. If something breaks, it's on us. Model that you're investing in. Well, that follow-up probably, for sure is going to cost you money, because you're not going to be able to charge for it, right? You said that you would keep them up. So. Go ahead.
Actually, it's interesting you bring this up, because I'm seeing a whole bunch of questions coming into the chat, and please continue to typing your questions here. But really what you just said there around the callback and not having the right skill sets. I see a question here, hoping you can address. Have you seen other organizations use Dynamics 365 for guides for training purposes instead of troubleshooting, as you've shown today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. That is a huge use case for it. In fact, we have a couple different customer stories around that, and I was just looking at one the other day, where they literally gave the guides to the workers, and they had no idea how to, they had no idea how to use the HoloLens. And the feedback was just like, I can't believe how much easier it is to learn how to change this complex system. What I learned in a week, I basically have been able to learn in hours, just because it was so interactive and so immersive. And so it is a huge, it's a huge game changer, as as we saw Tom, where you were able to provide him with the exact instructions. You can take that even from the remote assist. You can put all of that into the guides, and even get that spatial, your hands go here, the turn is there. So authoring and actually executing with guides is an amazing way to get the resources skilled very, very quickly, for sure.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kimmy. And Tom, I think the next question is for you here. What devices does Remote Assist actually work on? Is it only on the HoloLens?
No, Remote Assist works on the phone and tablet. So an iOS device or an Android device would work as well, like we did on the first scenario.
Awesome, awesome. And does it look the exact same way? It works the exact same way?
Other than the fact that you have two hands available with the HoloLens, yes, it works. It's pretty much the same way.
Awesome. Okay. And then I guess the
Yeah.
next one's really, oh, go ahead, Kimmy.
Yeah, I was going to say, and it's just kind of going on that remote assist. When we talk about, some customer benefits there, I talked about the truck roll, right? And Tom made a really good point about COVID, but even then I've seen the customer stories, again, use cases where there was a large shipping company, and they run the whole entire port over in Asia. And it was amazing to me because they started using, remote assist and using the technology in order to help them reduce the travel time, because the experts had to come from all over the world in order to fix these cranes, right? The big cranes that are on the shipping yards. And I thought, it's an amazing way to be able to engage not just the senior technicians, the Spencer Lowe's, right? But also to say, hey, we don't actually have to go on site because we can resolve this over the phone and work with work with the people that are already on the ground, rather than sending somebody out that could cost thousands. And I was just sitting here looking at a statistic where manufacturers, just from remote assist, one of a key benefits is, hey, they have avoided on average $3,500 of travel expenses per issue, just by
That's
incorporating,
huge.
remote assist. Exactly.
That is huge. Kimmy, is there a way that organizations can see the effectiveness of remote assist? So are my people using it? Is it actually being successful for me? Does those type of metrics exist?
Yeah, you'll be able to see the usage rate through your through your normal portal, Microsoft Dynamics portal, and you'll be able to see how much you're using it. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. And I got another question here. It looks like it's the last question. And again, if you have questions, please continue to type in. Tom, I think maybe you could take this one. Looks like it's more around the field service component of today's demonstration. And the question is, do work orders get actually timestamped? So you showed traveling and then in progress.
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways that we can add some automation, but when you change the status of a work order from scheduled to traveling, it records the time that you started traveling until you get to the site, and then change the status to in progress. So then it will record how long it took you to get there. And then it will timestamp it as the beginning of the work order. And then when you've completed the work order and changed the status to completed, then it timestamps the actual time that it took to complete that work order. There's also an AI engine in the background because we are estimating how long these jobs take so that we schedule them appropriately. So as an example is, if I have a job that I say takes 2 hours, and every time I go out, it takes 2.5 hours, then the system will suggest that you change the estimated time to 2.5 hours so that you're scheduling appropriately and not backing anyone up. It also can be automated through geofencing, where we can determine that when I enter the geofence of the customer, that the status either changes automatically or just alerts the technician to remind them to change the status, so that we don't have any mistakes with changing those statuses.
That's amazing. And all that is out of the box, Tom?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty valuable. So I think today everyone saw really leveraging Microsoft's heavy investment into Dynamics for Field Service, remote assistant guides, how it's going to help your organization improve your first-time fix rate, which will of course improve the customer's experience, improve your customer satisfaction, net promoter scores, which will in turn reduce your customers' churn risk. It'll help you increase revenue while reducing costs by having less callbacks and less truck rolls. So I really like to thank everyone today for attending. If you are interested, please go ahead and contact Arbella. Our information is here on the screen. Myself, Tom, and Kimmy would love to engage with you, learn a little bit more about your organization and your challenges, and how we can map Microsoft technology to help resolve those issues. So everyone, thank you. This session will be recorded, and I look forward to seeing everyone on the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.